What's up, millennials? I would like to do multiple videos about a company called ChargePoint and the company that is going to acquire this company called Switchback Energy Acquisition Corporation. So we're going to talk about that today because I think this is going to be one of the biggest SPAC plays of this year. Now in this video, we're only going to talk about what a SPAC is exactly, and we're also going to talk about who Switchback Energy Acquisition Corp is exactly as well. And at the end of the video, we're going to take a very quick look at the technical analysis. We're going to take a look at the charts. So let's go. Okay, let's first take a look at what a SPAC is exactly. And for that, we're going to be using Investopedia, which is a website that I use very frequently. It's almost like the Wikipedia of the stock market, so to say. So let's check this out. What is a SPAC? Well, a SPAC, the abbreviation SPAC, stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company. Okay, and let's just take a look at these four takeaways. And by the way, SPACs are also known as blank check companies. So let's take a look at these four takeaways, which are over here. The first one says that a special purpose acquisition company is formed to raise money through an initial public offering to buy another company. All right, so what they do is they go through an initial public offering. Before the IPO, there are investors that can invest in this SPAC and put money in this company. And after the IPO, then we, the general public, we can invest too. We can buy shares of a SPAC company. Then the second point is very important as well. And as it says over here, at the time of their IPOs, SPACs have no existing business operation or even stated targets for acquisition. Okay. So these SPACs are not a company like Tesla or Apple. They don't actually make products. They don't actually generate money, revenue, whatever. They're almost like an empty company. You could see them almost like an empty company. And the second part states that they don't even have stated targets for acquisitions when they launch their IPO. So at the IPO, at the initial public offering, you don't know in which company you're actually going to invest because they simply haven't got a target yet to acquire, right? You could almost compare this to playing roulette, for example. You just pick a number, you put your money on that number, and you simply hope that it goes well. And I actually do wonder what the percentage of successful SPACs is nowadays, but I suppose that it might be a little bit too early to do that because, I mean, SPACs have been very hot lately, but they have just been very hot for like a few years now, and we haven't really seen the long-term results of these SPAC plays. Okay, so back to the definition of SPACs. The third point over here says that investors in SPACs can range from well-known private equity funds to the general public. So private equity funds are like the big institutional investors usually, and the general public is like people like you and me. And then the fourth point over here says that SPACs have 2 years to complete an acquisition, or they must return their funds to their investors. That's very important as well. They have 2 years to complete an acquisition, okay? So basically what they do is a SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company, does research on many companies, usually like tens or even hundreds of different companies in usually a certain sector, and then they simply pick their favorite company to acquire. All right, so now we know pretty much what a SPAC is, so let's now take a look at the SPAC that we are interested in, which is the SPAC that is going to acquire ChargePoint. And this SPAC, as we have said before, is Switchback Energy Acquisition Corp. So let's first take a look at their About Us page. Let's just get to know this company a little bit better. As we can see over here, they are sponsored by NGP Switchback. So that is important to take into account to keep that abbreviation in your mind. And then we can see that they want to intend to focus their search for a target business in the energy industry in North America. All right, that is very important as well. And that is, of course, also where the name of this SPAC comes from, right? Switchback Energy Acquisition Corp. Then a little bit further on, we can read that NGP has successfully taken 11 of its portfolio companies public since 2014 and invested over 375 energy transactions since 1988. So that basically means that they've got lots of experience in this field of energy and they really know their stuff. Now let's take a quick look at their team, all right? So here we've got the management team. The director, or one of the directors, is Scott McNeil. As we can see over here, McNeil served as a managing director in the energy investment banking group of Raymond James Financial. So that seems like a pretty good sign, energy. Then here, the other director is Jim Mutry. Not sure if I pronounced that well. He's got a certificate in financial skills for the energy industry. Then we've got Josh Rosinski. He's the Chief Operating Officer, and he began his career at Devon Energy in Houston. And then we've got the board of directors with names like Sam Stoudner, Energy, Scott Gieselman, Energy, Chris Kartner, Energy, Ray Cubis, Energy, Automotive Battery Industry, Zane Arrett, Energy, Joseph Arms, Sports? Oh boy, I think we're going to zero. Nah, just kidding, of course. This seems like a pretty good team and a pretty good board of directors. Lots of people from the energy sector. So I'm pretty sure that they know their stuff, right? And then let's take a very quick look at the news about their IPO, their initial public offering, which was published on July 25th of 2019. It said that the pricing, or that the company announced that the pricing of its initial public offering IPO of 30 million units at a price of $10 per unit. And the units will be listed on the New York Stock Exchange beginning on July 26th of 2019. So as we can see, this was around 1.5 years ago, which means that they are very likely to complete their acquisition of a company before or within those 2 years, which usually are given to SPACs to complete their acquisition, right? And lastly, let's take a very quick look at the technical analysis, at the charts, because I am looking to buy this company, and in the next videos, I'll explain more detailedly why I actually want to do that, because currently I'm just pretty much waiting on the sidelines to see what is going to happen to this chart. I might buy like within a few weeks or something like that. But for now, as we can see over here, the price action, which is right now over here during pre-market hours, is still quite far away from the 55 daily exponential moving average. So I'm kind of waiting for the price to come back down to this white line over here. I'm also taking a look at the indicators over here. We've got the RSI, which is kind of coming down since the last few days or even weeks. It seems to be that the blue line over here is maintaining itself below the exponential moving average on the RSI, which is the white line over here. If we then take a look at the stochastics, pretty much the same thing. The blue line has crossed the pink line and used it over here as resistance, and now is coming back down. So I'm kind of thinking that this blue line is going to maintain itself even longer below this pink line, which probably means that the price will still continue to go down. And the same would be indicated by the MACD over here, which also had a cross over here and now is going down as well. Now, with regards to price targets, I'm kind of looking at this support over here, which is at $13.35. I'm kind of waiting and seeing if the price can come down to that level, which probably also would be the moment that the 55 exponential moving average is kind of close to that same price level of $13.35 as well. So yeah, the basic conclusion of my technical analysis is that I am waiting for the price to come down a little bit more, and then I am willing to start my position over there. All right, so there you go. We now know a little bit better what a SPAC is exactly, and we also got to know Switchback Energy Acquisition Corp a little bit better. So in the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about ChargePoint, which is, of course, the company that is being acquired by Switchback Energy Acquisition Corp. Now, if you would like to know more about ChargePoint as well, then please don't forget to subscribe. Alright, thanks for watching. See ya!